was 4 years old. So we made it a fundraising for that, and we were involved with the people from the Diabetes Association here in Flint. And she's the lady that put this scrapbook together as things happened along the way. We stopped in towns and people would get our pictures, and we asked them to send a picture of this to her. So she put this scrapbook together. On the front of it, it says the Genesee Snow Finders. That was what we were called at that time. 1979, we rode 2,279 miles from Jan's Sport Shop in Goodrich, Michigan to Yellowstone, West Yellowstone. The Yamaha furnished all 4 snowmobiles with a deal that Jan was going to take the 2 of them and sell them when we got back, and we used 2 of them that we raffled off for the proceeds to go to diabetes. We're going to start in this book, and if you notice, this is how it all started. And this little lady now is 54 years old. She's been blessed with a new kidney and a new pancreas. So we're all happy about that. We started out on January the 6th from Jan's Sport Shop in Goodrich, and there was only 3 of us at that time. There was myself, Dallas Fisher, my brother Doug Fisher, a guy named Lauren Matthews who had his left leg was off at the knee and he had a prosthesis, and Dick Moore. Dick showed up and he was to lead that morning of the 6th, and he was sicker than a puppy. So his wife made him go back home, and he was going to meet us along the way. Well, he hooked up with us in Mackinac City just before we crossed the bridge. The Flint Journal did an article on us. We were on the front page of the Flint Journal every day, and they made a little map and showed how far we had gone each day, and you'll see that in the scrapbook as we go through it.
I swear I remember hearing some of that too.
This is a picture of us pulling out of Jan's Sport Shop. You can see the dotted line. The first night we made it to, we have a place at Lakes of the North, when we made it that far. And we had a lot of, this was an itinerary, a temporary, sometimes it went askew, but it didn't always work. And we did do it in 13 days instead of 15 like we figured. Each day this up here was Dallas Cowboys were playing, and so that's what she decided to book these cheer for Dallas. And each day they filled in the map as we went along, and because one of us would call our spouse, and they would relay the information at the end of the day, and they would relay the information to the local newspaper. These are the 2 people who won the snowmobiles in the drawing. Some of this is not in exact sequence, but it's all there. Here we are, we made it to North Dakota, and when we got in North Dakota, we had run out of snow. Believe it or not, in January there was no snow in North Dakota. And we had to ride in what they called borrow pits. We call them a ditch, because they borrowed the dirt to make the road because everything's so flat. And what was in the ditch they call snert.
Yep. Which
is half dirt and half snow.
Yep.
And as we progressed along, like I said, we talked to the Flint Journal or talked to our wives every day, and they would send the information into the Flint Journal. And I don't know. Yeah, this is the picture of the day we got home. But this is the actual map that the Flint Journal used to mark our way. This is the thing they made their print off from for the newspaper to show where we were going. And notice we had to drop down to Cody because you couldn't get into the Yellowstone. We had to go in the south entrance. St. Cloud found us running down the side of the road. We had encounters with the DNR in Wisconsin, the DNR or whatever they are in Minnesota, because our stickers didn't match their stickers, so they would stop and check on us. This was out of the Saginaw News. This is the St. Cloud newspaper. This funny looking guy is my brother. He's already frozen his cheeks because it was bitter, bitter cold. If you look in these places, you'll see the temperatures. Here we are in Miles City, Montana. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we got a ticket in Grayling for riding on the shoulder of the road. And this officer was not a very nice person, and he wanted to know where the hell we were going with all of this stuff. If you look at these sleds, you'll see some snowshoes tied on the front of a couple of sleds. Every sled had 2 one-gallon gas cans on the back of the running boards, just in case. And the ticket was for riding on the road. This is the Billings Gazette in Billings, Montana on January the 19th. They published this. This is a copy of the, what do they call that? UP Press.
Okay.
UP Press, this is the press release that they had on, in our picture there. This is some of the things here. This is a permission to ride through the city of Bay City. We had a police escort that escorted us through this one side of the city and out the other. This is an authorization to ride across Mackinac Bridge.
That's what I was waiting to hear, if it was even authorized or if you guys just went.
No, when we get to the photo album, Greg, you'll see that there's an escort, a bridge escort vehicle in front of us, and there's a state trooper behind us.
Very cool.
And we think that this person, whoever authorized this, said, okay, do it, because we don't know this for a fact, but they think we probably think he had diabetes.
Well, makes sense. Hit close to home.
Yeah. After we returned home, one of our friends who owned a really nice restaurant put on a wild game dinner, another fundraising thing for us. And we had such things as moose roast, deer steak, antelope, bear meat, partridge, woodchuck, raccoon, and we had a big turnout for that, quite a big turnout for that. And this is things that's related to the Diabetes Association. Here we are in the Lapeer County paper. And several places along the way that we would stop maybe to eat or something. Somebody'd say, where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you dressed like that? And we'd end up getting a letter from them, a handwritten letter, and that's what some of these are in here. I don't know exactly where we were, probably in North Dakota, because it was so friggin' cold there and the wind chill was so friggin' much that we were almost to where we were going to stop for the night, in a motel, by the way. And we went into a laundromat and we're all dressed like we're just walked out of a spaceship or something. And there's 2 ladies in there doing laundry, and they threw their arms up and said, we don't have any money, we don't have any money. We said, no, we just want to get warm. More letters. Here's a letter from the White House to our director at the Diabetes Association in Flint. Come from, it wasn't from the president, but it was some of his staff. And here's another letters written. Some of the things we picked up along the way, Dick or Lauren would pick up matchbox flaps and all that stuff. 2 of the guys lived in the city of Burton and were each given a key to the city when we got back. Dennis Kirk was very helpful. You know, the parts supplier and what have you. Are they still in business?
Boy, I was drawing a blank on that one.
Well, they were over in Minnesota, Rush City, Minnesota.
Well, Dennis Kirk Snowmobile Supplies.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
They actually, when we got there, they come dragging out thermal underwear. Long Johns.
No, they're still in business. They're
Yeah,
good to deal
and
with.
Daco furnished extra belts, so we all had extra belts. And lo and behold, Our Lady Sandy sent a letter to the Crawford County prosecuting attorney, and they tore the tickets up.
Jeez.
This is some of my friends at AC who contributed to the contributions for diabetes. Some of the people that I worked with at AC. More letters from different places. Mott's Children's Health Center. More stuff from the diabetes and the updates on our thing. This is actually the picture, the map inside the Yellowstone. We come in the east entrance and went out the west. When we went out the west, we had a friend sitting there. The Buick Motor Division furnished us, station wagon, and some manufacturer in Pitt County or Standish, trailer manufacturer, furnished a 4-place trailer. And one of our friends who owned a restaurant in Clio drove that vehicle out there, and as we come out of the park and into West Yellowstone, he was sitting there with the ramps down, and we were up and on him and headed back home. And we wanted to get home in time to go to the Auto City Speedway in Clio was having a snowmobile races, and we wanted to get there in time to make a parade lap. And then we passed through the crowd with our helmets, picking up contributions for diabetes.
Very cool.
When my brother lost the maps, this is what we used. A regular old highway map. That'll get you someplace.
And a compass.
Yeah. Well, my brother always said, somebody said, well, how do you know how to get to Yellowstone? He said, well, you go north till you cross that bridge and then turn left.
Yes.
You'll get there sometime. So that was his things there. More letters from people thanking us and what have you, from all over the country. This is when Hittinger, North Dakota. We got up that morning and it was 34 below zero with not counting the wind chill. And when we look at some pictures, you'll see my brother sits about that far off the back of the sled, because he's 6'7" and weighs over 300 pounds. And he sits way back on the seat. Well, the mechanism in that track was shaped like a C, and it had braces in it. Well, that weight pounded on it for that long of a trip. Twice we had to stop and get that repaired. One of them was in this place where it was 34 degrees. We went back in the restaurant and asked if there was a welder there. And some guy jumped right up and said, follow me to the barn. And, no charge, get it fixed. So you can see a lot of things here about diabetes and the purpose that we were after. And these are all the people who actually furnished money to help us cover our expenses. We had and the people that we interacted with. We had a friend who owned several flower shops in Flint, and he said, who's paying for all of this? And we said, well, we figured we'd just make it happen.
Just Volts or who?
No, I can't tell you the name of it. He's gone out of business now. It ain't Royola, but it's something like that. And he said, you guys come over to my store on Clio Road tomorrow, and I'll show you how to raise some money. And he had a whole bank of phones there, and we just sat down and he said, call everybody you know. Call everybody you know. And my first phone call, the guy said, come and pick up $500.
Wow.
So that's how we help cover the expenses. And all of these letters are about and what happened along the way. And lo and behold, this is what we were riding.
That's what I wanted to see, what model, Exciter, that's what I figured. Nice. That's a very collectible machine right now too. There's people that are always looking for those. They're bulletproof.
We give them a test. that was horrible in North Dakota where there was no snow, Greg. It was horrible. You know, because there's rocks and whatever, you know, all along the way. But we all cherish this. Currently today, there's only 2 of us still alive, of the 4 that went. My brother and myself are the only 2 that's alive. Let's push this off to the side and get this photo album over here. This is not in exact order. We've got a lot of stuff that started in here, and this is where it starts, right here. No. Where'd it go? Yeah. We got it. This is really not in order. There's this pulling out of Jan's Sport Shop.
Yep.
That's my brother. You can see he's hanging over the back. This is the guy with 1 leg.
I think that fence is still standing.
Huh?
I think that fence is still standing.
Yeah.
It is.
It might be.
The business is closed.
Yeah, right. I think they both passed away. But all of our family and friends was there. And a lot of them aren't here now. So that was our morning when we left there. Now we got to get back here and start where we started, because this is departure from Jan's Sport Shop. And my brother has put this all under what's going on there, you know. This is escorted through Bay City. This is dinner and forwards, and just 3 of us here now still, because we're just started out and the other guy was sick. And this is a pit stop up near Wolverine. We actually spent the first night, we have a trailer at Lakes of the North that we use for snowmobiling only. And here we are, the sick one has arrived at Mackinac City with his wife, and we're ready to rock and roll. And notice this, we don't see many of them anymore.
Pegasus.
Pegasus horses. This is Dick and his wife, and here we're starting the track across the bridge. You can see the windshield on my brother's sled.
Yep.
And this vehicle here is a Bridge Authority vehicle. Here's some more from in the bridge and straight up at the tower. And then Dick's wife went across and took pictures of us as we were coming across, okay? We're getting closer and closer and closer to getting across. Here's the escort vehicle. We get closer and closer. My brother had to be a smartic when he put this in here. And we got closer, and here's the #1 rider, is the trail boss. That's my brother. #2, we call this guy Uncle Dickie because his name was Dick Moore. This is Lauren, and this is the #4 rider is Motor Mouth. That would be me. And you can see we're headed for the toll gate, and yes, they made us pay.
Wow.
A buck. We all paid $1. And then we put our first wear rods on at Castle Rock. Somebody was going to furnish us some carbides, but they didn't come through. So we just grabbed a handful of wear rods out from Jan's, and we got as far as North Dakota before we run out of those. Most of these have a caption underneath it telling you where we're at or what's going on. Downtown Rylander, Wisconsin. We've run into some neat people out on the trails. There's some place, I believe we were in Wisconsin, and we come upon this place out in the middle of nowhere with a trail going through there, a little store and a restaurant and gas. That's all we cared about. You know, you get warm, get gas, and go. And lo and behold, those gas cans that we put on the back of the sleds were those little metal, gallon metal cans. When you reach for gas, it wasn't there. It split the seams on them tanks. We never even give that a thought, you know. Here we are in Cambridge, Minnesota, and this guy's name is Jim Rapp, and he's let us use his garage to put wear rods on and do whatever we needed to do to the sleds. Right here we're getting ready to cross the Missouri River, and it's about a 10-foot drop down to the river. and probably within 100 yards south of where we're crossing, there's open water.
Nice. Throttle down and go.
Well, I'm glad my brother was first, not me.
That the heaviest one?
Yeah, he's a heavy. and the guy that was sick, he really come around after the first day on the sled. He had just had some kind of bronchitis, pneumonia stuff, you know, and he really come around. Oh, look what happens to the leader though, see? He falls into a hole in the snow, you know, a small drift hole. We're out in the pictures are way back in here. We're out in North Dakota, and we had been stopped twice by DNR or whoever they are checking our things. And we get out in North Dakota, and we're riding in the ditch, and I see this green truck go screaming by us, and I thought, oh, he ain't gonna stop us. Well, I look up, and he's pulled crossways in the driveway.
Yeah.
And he's not the DNR or any authority. He's a guy who owns a club in North Dakota, a nightclub. And he said, I couldn't believe it. I own the only snowmobile in this part of North Dakota because we're home of Arctic Cats there, you know, right up there, Thief River.
Yep.
So he stopped. He said, I got to find out what you guys are doing, why you're here on these Yamahas. So we told him, and he said, well, my place is up the road a little ways. He said, you guys stop and I'll fix you dinner, fix you supper, whatever. So that's what we did. We'll see these pictures back in a ways. You'll see where he's at, because this one's already got us in Montana, and damn, it was cold in North Dakota. Welcome to the big sky country, you know, big sky. This is just some of the mountains. Oh, there's a tunnel we have to go through. How long is that tunnel? You ask the locals? Well, it's a half a mile, or it's 800 yards, or nobody knows how long it is. We just went anyway. You know, there was actually, I think there was 3 tunnels when we got into Montana. Here we are at the east gate of West Yellowstone Park. Very nice people there. Said, you guys need breakfast. No, we said, no, we need gas. We had to go around the back, and they have it in a tank, big tank sitting up there. They don't have it actually in a pump. This is the entrance gate going into the east gate. This is just outside the gate. And they tell you when you're riding in Yellowstone Park, stay on the trail. Wait a minute, we just come 2,000 miles and you're going to tell us to ride on the trail? Well, I guess they knew what they were talking about, because
Yeah.
it took 3 of us to get out of this mess. Of course, the guy with the little the peg leg, he wasn't much help because he ain't got no pushing power, you know. I think Dick run out in there and got stuck as stuck could be. I mean, there wasn't going anywhere. A lot of pictures we picked off as buffalo as we're going through the park. Other people seen us and we stopped, you know, what are you doing with these snowshoes on the front of your sled and where are you going? Of course, we didn't know what we was running into out there. Come on, open up. Call this a snow coach. It's what they use to get people around out in the park who work there and take supplies out into like the Old Faithful resort. Huh?
Can we time out?
We are now.
Okay, thank you.
We're at Old Faithful, and we've decided that the next time we wanted to make this trip, we're riding in one of these coaches.
Heck yeah.
Because it's warm. Notice this guy is standing on the mantle, and this guy is taller than he is standing on the mantle.
Big boy.
Yeah, he's a big dude. And we've seen a lot of elk and buffalo. We have been back to Yellowstone twice since we did this, playing. Just flew in and out. These are pictures all taken inside the park. Here we are going out the east side, or the west side of the gate, west gate, and there's a trailer sitting there. We already got them loaded because with five people in this station wagon. We just drove her through.
Yeah.
Right straight home. We're back at my brother's house in this picture. This is TV25 is interviewing everybody. And probably having a few toddies while we're there. Then the Flint Journal come out and wants to take pictures of us on the sleds. So that's all of these are just pictures taken for the newspaper. And that picture was before we left the Jan's Sport Shop. This is Lauren Matthews. That's my son Jim, myself, my wife, my mom, my dad, my mom, my niece, my sister-in-law, my brother, and that's my nephew. This is a guy that owned the flower shop, and I can't tell you the name of the flower shop now, but he was on the board at the Diabetes Association, so we had a couple of powwows with them, you know, who's going to handle the money and how it's going to be handled. And you can see that two of us had snowshoes on the front of our sleds just in case somebody had to walk. We did run out of gas, and we went to get gas out of the cans we had, and the cans wasn't much in it, so we decided we'd pour it all in one sled, and my brother took off for the next gas station, and we're sitting beside the road, and here comes Farmer John. Hey, you guys got trouble? Yeah, we're out of gas. He said, well, I can fix that. Jumped up in the back of his truck and started filled us all up. By then my brother started back. He said, what the hell? How'd you guys get going? You got no gas. But it was a planned thing. We worked on it for a long time, getting it all together, you know. I told you about the guy stopping us out in North Dakota because he had the only snowmobile, Yamaha snowmobile. He owned this place called the Curve, and it was on a giant curve. You can see it right here, okay? And if you look close, this marquee sign out in front says, Welcome Michigan Snowmobilers.
Very cool.
Very cool. He went home and put the letters up for us, and then he started, I thought it was the Last Supper. It's outside, honey.
Thank you.
He thought it was the Last Supper because they just kept bringing food and bringing food and bringing food.
Oh, nice.
So we go into the next town that we're headed for to go check in the motel, and he said, this motel right there, that's a good one in town. Well, when we get there, we're here to, we need, well, she said it's all taken care of. No, that's the end of that story. I'll show you some of these, Greg. This was we had a trailer up at Lakes of the North. This is the trailer back there. This is February 11th, 1979. That's how deep the snow was. We just literally had a ball that year. Because when it started snowing,
Oh yeah.
back in them days, we were like this.
I think many of you understand. We all understand.
Yeah, you know, when it started snowing, we're going.
Half an inch. We were riding them yesterday at the show.
Yeah. And here's my brother is trying to teach my younger son how to bust through these drifts, you know, to go up there and bust through them. And my son kind of backs off a little bit, and not today he wouldn't back off.
Yeah.
He's and he loved riding with my brother because he was always just 2 steps from his taillight, you know. And if my brother went someplace, he went someplace. That pretty much all. You can look through there, and you guys got questions. Greg has my phone number. You guys up there in the museum have my phone number.
And when you get back from Arizona, we're going to take you up there and show you all this too. Hopefully we got this video playing, and it's going to get
That'd be
shared
so
with
cool.
a lot of people.
That'd be fun, huh, honey?
Oh yeah, very, very fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to loan you these 2 books. I don't know for how long. My brother don't know if he wants to get rid of them.
You know where they're at when you need them.
Yeah.
I would personally just leave them at the museum, but he ain't ready to do that yet.
Definitely too. Get your brother up there, and
Oh, that'd be cool.
We'll
wouldn't
make
it?
a weekend out of this.
Yeah.
Get his big ass on one of them.
That's off. Yeah.
Oh, we're still on.
Oh, Get him on one of them old sleds up there, one of them moto ski cadet or something.
You'll be surprised. The addition is opening up.
Yeah, that's what.
By the end of the year, they got heat in it this weekend, so it's getting real close, and you'll be impressed. It's a very good place to visit.
Okay, if you turn that off, I'm going to tell you another story that has nothing to do with this.
All right, we're turning it off. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dallas. Bye-bye.
Here's the deal. I have known